Thank you, Father Doyle. Thanks. That was a great prayer. And since we made you look 20 years younger than you really are with that old photo up here, we expect an even greater prayer later tonight. I knew Father Doyle had become a priest after he left college, but when I saw S.J. after his name, I assumed he became a Jesuit. But it's not S.J., it's SSJ, which stands for the Society of St. Joseph. And so Father Joe Doyle entered the Society of St. Joseph, also called the Josephites. Pretty clever move for a guy whose name is Joseph. When I called Father Doyle and asked him to do our prayer, he said, certainly, that's what they pay us for. And I said, great. But what I didn't tell Father Doyle is that we are not going to pay him with money. We're going to give him something better than money. We are going to give him an award. Good luck with your airfare, Father Doyle. There are two people here with us who we will introduce later and hear from later, but for right now I would like to recognize, first of all, the interim president of Wheeling Jesuit University and our first female president, Sister Frances Marie Threlkeld. She'll just wave her hand. Also with us, and he soon drove all the way over to Columbus to be with us tonight, the president of our alumni council, Mr. Scott Gallagher.
We also want to recognize three old friends and special guests who are with us today. We're going to talk about them later, but for the time being, I'm going to ask them to stand up or simply raise their hands. We are so pleased they are here with us. First, Dr. Paul Orr. Dr. Orr, will you please stand and raise your hand? Ms. Eileen Carpino. Oh. And Father William McGrarty, who drove all the way from Baltimore to be with us today. Our job on the reunion committee was to think of ways to make this a good weekend. The work has not been hard, but all of us were able to earn our bonus by putting up with John and Joe for about 10 months. It was worth it though. After months of work, we came up with 2 rules for our class. First, during this weekend, if you call the university Wheeling College, do not apologize, but just keep on talking. Secondly, do not be offended if someone you recognize and have known for 50 years keeps looking at your name tag. You may recognize him or her, but he or she may not recognize you. After all, it has been half a century. Incidentally, the reason there are 2 of us up here as a host is that our job involves talking and passing out things at the same time, and our college education did not prepare us to do both of those by ourselves. And I would be remiss if I failed to mention that in addition to Al and me, the reunion committee consists of 4 others, very able, I should say. First of all, Carolyn Cannon. Carolyn? There's she. In the Rand Fest, she's too shy to stand up. Sandy Piper Sonneborn. We stand. John and Joe Mincer. John and Joe over there. Oh, now here's listen. Electric pit jacket in this one. And Ed Shahady. Al, if there are 6 members, why are you and I the only ones up here?
Well, you're here because you were asked to volunteer, and you said yes because you thought you were going to be on TV.
No, I knew the TV story was funny. And unlike you, I did not show up here and ask the theater guys where the teleprompters were.
Yeah, well, I think they're saving a teleprompter for someone a little more important. But to answer your question, I'm here because I'm the only guy on the committee that does not sing, dance, or have a duck dance.
You mean we're going to hear Dr. Ed Shahadi's duck act again?
Well, he's been practicing. We're going to hear it again. For those of you who are guests or friends here and are not familiar with the characters in our class, we have a classmate, Dr. Ed Shahadi, who was born with the ability to talk like a duck. Dr. Shahadi has leveraged this ability to talk like a duck. He calls it a gift from God, into a comedy act, which he performs from time to time. Hopefully, not for the people who, the poor souls who come to him for medical advice.
Are you sure he wasn't born a duck?
In other words, he's reverted.
Well, you know, Phyllis, there's some people here who had doubts about coming to this reunion, and I'm afraid some of those doubts may be revisited tonight when he does turn back into a duck. So should we give people the bathroom code or the restroom code?
Yes, we do have a restroom code.
If you have to go to the restroom during the gamble, here's the name of Dr. Shahadi's act. Mr. McDuck and Julio. No, it's Ducknick meets Lorenzo. Is that right, Ed?
Whatever.
Luigi, anyway, whatever.
I just want to see him in a tutu again.
Ah, you will see that.
Actually, Dr. Shahadi has had some success with this comedy act over the years. As a matter of fact, the AMA said that his act spurred a movement in the medical community with Dr. Shahadi in the lead. Phyllis, do you know the name of that movement?
Yes, it's called Quack Doctors. Now, did you know we have another celebrity among our alumni? John Mincer has been named the Ambassador of Music for the state of West Virginia.
Yes, I did know that, but what a lot of people don't know is that John has another title, even bigger. When I was here for a basketball reunion 2 years ago, John gave the old ball players a CD. I've done that a number of times, but he gave us a CD. And the CD contained an interview that John did with the West Virginia Sports Network. It was about our own basketball team. And John did a good job on the interview, names and so forth. But what struck me about the interview was the fact that the announcer, who did not sound old enough to have ever seen John play basketball, kept referring to John as the Wizard of Wetzel County.
Oh, so John is not only an ambassador, but also a wizard. He's also a wizard?
Yeah, according to his CD, he's a wizard. And one reason I wanted to come to this reunion was to find out how a quiet, bashful guy, humble guy from New Martinsville became not only an ambassador for his state, but a wizard for his county. Maybe we'll learn that later tonight. Phyllis, don't look now, Dr. Orr's taking notes over there. Check.
Yeah, I know. Someone saw him this morning in the cafeteria practicing X's. He was writing X's over and over again on a napkin. He still has that red pen he brought with him from Canada. You know, they said they were going to give us another diploma, but maybe what they really are going to do is take away the diploma. They've already, no, they wouldn't do that, would they? And if not, what is the stuff about another graduation?
Well, there's not another graduation, but the university is going to give us a 50-year club diploma. Each of us will get a diploma in a few minutes. The reunion committee recommended that the university start a 50-year club because we thought it would be a simple way for the university to give some extra love and affection to its most precious asset, us. To become a member of the 50-year club, you must have been a member of a class that graduated from Winning Jesuit University 50 or more years ago. Of course, only 2 classes qualify now, our class and the class of 59. Right now, the 50-year club is primarily an honorary association. The club has no dues, no meetings, no officers, no social events, but except for the dues, we hope the club will have all of these things in the near future. By the way, membership is lifetime. No worries. No worries about renewals, no annual medical exams. It's also important to note that the 50-year club is not, and I know we'll be asked this, so I'm going to tell you right now, it's not, and the university assured me of this, it is not an organization to be used for extra fundraising, giving, or charity. We're not going to single out. Just because we're old doesn't mean we're rich. When you get your diploma today, it will say you have charter membership. Charter members are the original or founding members, and charter membership is reserved for the classes of 59 and 60 only, and all future classes will have regular membership. We took the liberty of giving ourselves a little snob appeal with this rule. We made it up. One other important thing about qualifications for the 50-year club, there are no background checks. So if you've had multiple affairs, if you've had served terms in the penitentiary, don't worry about it. You're still in. Well, Phyllis, if this club doesn't do anything, why belong to it?
Well, as the club grows in size, it can be used in ways that will benefit both the members and the university. We've looked at what other colleges have done and come up with some ideas of our own. For example, we may hold an exclusive reception for 50-year members and their guests each year during reunion week. 50-year club members will wear their special name tags or pins. Since they will be treated as special category, we hope that more 50-year club members will attend these weekends. Once a club membership grows in the Wheeling-Pittsburgh area, we can hold a number of social events during the year, including tours, lectures, sports events, luncheons, and meetings with the president. That's our president, not Obama. Of course, these events will be available to all 50-year club members. We can publish newsletters that keep 50-year club members in touch with each other. We can set up a display case at a prominent place on campus to display photos and memorabilia from 50-year club classes. This stimulates discussions of the history and traditions of the school among current students. We may be able to get discounts on bookstore items, athletic event tickets, and other programs for 50-year club members. We may be able to help a particular student with a problem. We've also seen other colleges invite current students to 50-year club meetings or social events to give reports on what is going on at the college from the student perspective. We can look for practical ways to keep alive the history and tradition of the university. There are questions about the history of a college that only 50-year club members can answer. We wanted to set up the framework for this club now and let the College Alumni Council, alumna, and future reunion committees look for ways to use the club as membership grows. From the university standpoint, the club advertises the fact that the university has been doing things well for a long time. We hope as the 50-year club grows in size, it can be an important part of the university's alumni base. In this regard, if you have an idea about how the 50-year club can be used, please let us know.
Well, thank you, Phyllis. One thing about, Phyllis mentioned keeping alive the history and tradition of the college. One thing that's wrong about our history, if you look on the college website, and it talks about the history of the college, and it's a good history. It talks about when the buildings were built and presidents came and went, but in the beginning of the history, there's a little paragraph about the start of basketball at Wheeling Jesuit. Now, I don't know who wrote the history, but whoever did, and it's a nice paragraph. One sentence in that paragraph said practices were held in parking lots and on outside asphalt courts. Well, you know, we didn't have a Cadillac or a country club program here, but we never practiced outside in parking lots. So I don't know who wrote that, but it's something that only the 50-year club can correct. I see Ed Shahady and Mentor in their shorts out there in February running out of the parking lot in some freezing weather.
I got to tell a story on Al. Your freshman year, they're playing Steubenville. Steubenville had this all-American guy.
Big Jim Smith.
Big dude. What was his name?
Jim Smith. Jim Smith.
So the big guy's got the ball. Al reaches between his legs to try to knock it away, and the guy closes his leg. He didn't get his arm out.
Yeah, he was a good guy. He was first-round draft choice of the Boston Celtics.